Hey everyone, welcome to Changing Gears, a Worn and Wound podcast where we talk about everything gear, travel, photography, and in today's episode, bags. I am joined by Mr. Ricardo Sime, our shop manager at Worn and Wound. And hi, Ricardo. Ricardo, do I say your last name right? I've always meant to ask you that.
I mean, you're one of the few I think that does say it right. Most of the time,
Okay.
I get Sime, Ricardo Sime.
Oh, gotcha.
And another word that I will not repeat here. But yeah, it's Sime is the correct pronunciation.
Okay, cool. And then we are also joined by Garrett Jones, our lead photographer, senior photographer at Worn and Wound. How are you, Mr. Garrett?
Doing great. Glad to be back for another episode.
Yeah, I'm excited. So, anytime we can talk about bags, I'm down because I feel like this is probably a conversation that happens between the three of us a lot, especially when I come to the office. And I was like, we should just do an episode on this for Changing Gears. So today we're going to be talking about some of our favorite photography bags. And some of these bags may not be dedicated photo bags. They may just be bags we really like, and we've kind of turned them into dedicated photo bags. I know I have one on my list. Or they can be just directly photographer directed bags that we've come to love over the years. I don't even know how many bags I purchased. Like literally, I was trying to think the other day. I have a literal closet full of bags, and I've bought and sold countless others too. I think I'm in like the 30s or 40s at this point, honestly, of bags. Yeah.
Yeah, I slimmed my collection way down when I moved up to New York City, but I mean, total number over the years, probably has to be close to 100. Like, I really don't want to think about how much money I've spent on backpacks.
Yeah, I've tried to approach the same way with watches. I can't bring more in if I don't get some out. So I've stuck, like I'm right around 5, 6 right now, consistently. So
yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. I think I probably have less than 10 now in the closet, but at one point, like I said, I had a lot. I bought and sold a lot, trying different things out. And, I think it's really important, and I'm sure that you guys have understood this when you're on set. Like, there's nothing more important than having a good bag that is actually useful to you, because if you're sitting there, fiddling with your bag, you can't get a zipper open. That's time wasted when you have limited time trying to shoot someone or something. And there's nothing more frustrating than that, I think, or being somewhere that you're just like, oh, this bag is just not working for me. And that's definitely happened a time or two in testing, but we're not going to bring down the bags that didn't work for us. We're going to talk about the bags we love. So, Garrett, I'll kick it off to you first. But let's actually do a quick wrist check, because we have to on this channel. And we won't do probably a gear check today, because we're going to talk about so many bags. But unless you have something on your desk, I don't think I do today. But Garrett, you want to start us off with a wrist check?
Yeah, so I have currently in for review. It's a second hour Mandela Mark III. So it's got it's a stamped guilloche dial, relatively thin, quick adjust clasp, 100 meters water resistance, absolutely gorgeous. But U.S. retail price is under $600. So a lot of features off the rip at that price point. Nice. So excited to kind of dive into this one and eventually get a review up for it.
Very cool. Not a watch I would pair you with, honestly. So that's cool.
I have it's a salmon dial too. So it's like very bright, light orange copper, but definitely works.
Yeah. Funny. What about you, Ricardo? What are you wearing?
So I am literally wearing the first thing that was next to my bed when I woke up. This Timex James brand collab.
The titanium?
Yeah. Simple. This is like just an easy, thank you. And then, but it's funny, this past month, I've been wearing nothing but my Black Bay. And this is like the first day that I've consistently decided to wear something differently.
Yeah. I love all of the James brands Timexes that they've collabed on. I think they're all really cool. That's awesome. I'm wearing my white Speedy today. It's getting blown out by the sun coming in the window. This one's been on a hard rotation. Probably I've been wearing this more than anything lately. It's just like it's like the perfect Speedmaster. I think it's so good.
Oh, those are fighting words, Kat. It's a great
I know you guys are going to talk
words.
about that later this week. Unfortunately, I won't be able to take part in that Thunderdome, but yeah, I think like the new iterations of Speedies, like the new bracelet design, and I mean, I'm a sapphire girly. I know purists love the acrylic, but I don't want scratches on my dials, so yeah,
Listen,
stick with the sapphire.
What's the sense in having modern watchmaking if you're not taking advantage of it? Like, come on, like.
Yeah, that's what I say. That's what I say. I know they're gonna argue about that later this week, though. I'm excited to see the Speedmaster Thunderdome.
You thought the Tudor Thunderdomes were hardcore. Just wait.
Yeah, the Speedmaster might go even harder. We'll see. I hope so. I hope it gets heated in there. I really do. I want to see it. Everybody bring their A game. All right. Well, let's talk about bags. So, Garrett, we'll start with you. What has been like one of your favorite photography bags over the years?
Yeah, so I mean, this was a recent one. We talked about this on our Top Gear of 2024, but it's the Clever Supply Co. Sidekick Pro. Just super minimalist, fits my camera body and a lens or maybe another small prime. Not a lot to it. It's just what I grab when I want to, take a camera and maybe a power bank and hit the road for a couple hours. But I think more so than that, I use it more as like a packing cube inside of my main bag, so that I'm always able to drop kit at the office and then go out and shoot if I need to, or just make whatever work.
That's great. Yeah, I love that. That's is it like canvas or something?
Yeah, the one I have is wax canvas, but then they have a black Cordura as well.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, that's a great looking bag. And we'll be throwing up we'll have some photos in the show notes too. We'll link to these bags so you guys can check them out too. Is this something that you've carried with you on sets, do you feel like, yet, or is this sort of just like a walk around bag for the weekend and stuff?
Yeah, much more of just like, go out and shoot on my own.
Yeah.
But there's some upcoming projects where I'll be out and about in the city and shooting. And it's highly likely that this one will be, maybe in combination with a backpack.
Yeah.
Just so I have somewhere to like drop a filter or a lens cap or carry extra batteries. We'll see. I mean, definitely personal use hardcore all the time, but we'll see how it lends itself for on-set use.
Yeah, I find with those like smaller slings, like that's kind of how I've used them, is like when I'm on set and I don't want to carry my backpack. My backpack sitting down and there's an assistant watching over it or just whatever. I like to carry like an extra lens on me. My little rocket blowers in there, usually tossed in there. Microfibers tossed in there, maybe a filter. Again, that's kind of what I use those little sidekick bags for, especially when I'm on set, if I'm not using them to like travel and stuff, which I think they're also great travel bags too.
Yeah, they're perfect for that too.
Yeah, great pick. What about you, Ricardo? What's your first bag on your list?
So first bag on my list is actually a brand out of New York called Tenba. It's I
don't think I've heard of them.
Yeah, so this was like when I was transitioning away from like you guys know, like the Best Buy, like looks like a photography backpacks.
Yeah.
Like Low Pro and all those things with the compartments and everything. And I was just like, I want something sleeker. And then I also I was in like a roll top phase where I was just like, I like that ability to just access things from the top and put stuff there. But then I also like the rear compartment. And those were the two things that really drew me to this. So it's a 16 liter, but I swear it is not 16 liters.
Ooh, that sounds small. Yeah.
They say 16, but I'm guessing it's like 24. Because I'd be able to fit, especially with the roll top, like I'd be able to fit so much stuff in there.
Yeah, you have some extra room there.
So I just loved it. Like I still have that pack. I use it like here and there if I'm heading into the city. I think it's actually like stored under my desk, which is my backpacks. I'm about to give myself away. Backpacks my significant other, my wife, doesn't know about, so I keep
you just keep them at the office.
Keep them at the office, like they never come home.
I don't have that. I can't do that.
It's great. It's great.
I joke and laugh about that, but I have like 3 backpacks at my desk right now that are just in the rotation.
Yep. And I just love the thing. It's got this like black camo design. I'm a sucker for like all black when it comes to bag. anything that
Mm-hmm.
makes the bag not look like a camera
Yeah,
bag,
not stand
not
out.
stand out. I love
Yeah.
that. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking about Devin's DB bag that's like the brightest red I've ever seen in my life. That dude is like, you can't miss Devin at all with that
Yeah.
bag, which is like kind of cool. And I've looked at bags and I like Mission Workshop has a lot of really cool bags that are bright yellow and that bright like construction orange. And I'm like, that looks so cool, but literally it will be all eyes on me walking through the airport in that thing or somewhere on the street, right? But I do love the idea of having a bright bag. But then I look in my closet, it's all black, dark blue.
Mhm.
I guess I got a coyote tan, but that's still kind of like muted in a way.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, because like Ricardo, you mentioned, keeping bags at the office. How often? Because I'm interested to hear, how often do you change bags, both of you? Because I feel like I change, like I have a new bag every trip I leave. Like I leave to the airport and I'm carrying a different bag.
Often.
Yeah.
Right now, and I bet you within a month this is going to change. I have one consistent everyday bag that I'm using, which is on this
Mm-hmm.
list that I'll talk about later. But before that, I think every single fair I've gone to, I've bought a different bag.
Yeah.
Every single like trip into the city, I think I bought a different bag. It's
Yeah.
just weird. Like sometimes like a nice simple messenger works. And then
Mm-hmm.
other times you're just like, no, I need a full on backpack. Then other times you're like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm just taking a couple shots. I'm going to put on a sling. So yeah, I change often.
Yeah. And I get like based on the gear you're taking, it's going to determine the bag you're going to bring if you need more or less. But I know people that keep a bag that's like ready to go. They keep their gear charged. It's all in there. And that's the one bag they use. And it's ready to go every time they have a trip or a shoot or whatever. And I'm just not that way. I unload everything out of my bags when I come back from a trip. And so then it's all about loading it all back up depending on the bag I want to bring. And I don't know, it's like that kind of sounds like a hassle, but I also, again, just kind of like to pick what bag I want to bring. Garrett, what's your thought? Do you pack a different bag every time? Do you switch it up a lot?
Yes, I kind of have two schools of thought on this. I have like a rolling hard case that is my like travel kit. Like when we go to fairs, it's my carry on. It
like
has
a Pelican
all of
or something like that.
Like
Yeah.
it's a Nano 935.
Okay.
It's so like that one very much like stays at the ready, extra filters, lens, everything's just there ready to go. But then if anytime I'm in the city, like if I'm bringing 2 or 3 lenses, there's a certain bag. If I'm bringing like a strobe, there's a different bag that kind of like scales in size based on what I'm doing. But I mean, it's like generally speaking, I'll change bags 2-3 times a week. Just depends on how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And every time I go to shoot, it's like the same 5, but it's a different combination of what bag actually goes.
Yeah. I forgot that you're sort of our resident bag expert too, and you're constantly reviewing bags, so it makes sense that you have a lot that you're going through.
I have not forgot that because he's tempted me on numerous occasions.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I think we all have at some point, because I've been to the office and Ricardo's got something new. I'm like, I kind of like that tech pouch over there or whatever. We're all like looking at each other's stuff constantly. We're very bad influences.
Or the worst part is like one of us picks up a new piece of gear and like gets it in a certain colorway. Yeah. And then I'll see it and I'm like, oh, that's great. I want the same colorway.
Got to get it in a different colorway.
I got to get something different so I know it's mine.
I know. We're really bad about that. Even though I'm not even there. You guys can pick whatever color you want. I'm like there once a month, maybe.
Well, yeah. It
I know
happens.
how it is though. And it's like you want to get a different color than someone else has. So the first bag I have on my list is one that I've used for many years now, and that is the Peter McKinnon Nomadic 25-liter bag. This is probably, I don't think there's been a camera bag that's better than this, in my opinion, like a photo-centric bag. I love this bag. I know. I love this bag. Now, I have also owned the 35-liter, which I don't own anymore. And I didn't quite love that bag. And honestly, I ended up selling the one that I had. I think I sold it to Chris Coe. I think he actually has it now, but
yeah, and he still uses it.
He uses it all, and he packs that thing down. Pretty heavily. It was like, I think that was the problem. It was too big for me, and I didn't really know how to really formulate it. The 25-liter though, with the ladder system that's inside, I love that because Ricardo, like it has top access, and you're not messing with anything down below, and you can put your water bottle up there, your wallet, your keys, like quick stuff. Like my tech pouch goes in that little top compartment. But I love the zipper pouches when you open it up as a clamshell. Mm-hmm. That's where I keep filters and all my little tools and accessories. And then I usually have 2 bins, and I can fit a lot of stuff in here. I mean, I was just thinking this morning, like, I think I could almost fit in this bag, including maybe the water bottle holders outside, like packed all the way. I think I can fit as much in this as I can in my Pelican case. Wow. Truly.
Yeah, easily.
If not it's very, very close. And that's crazy to me that I can put just as much stuff that I fit in my Pelican in this bag, and tying up my tripod on the side, probably, but like, that's crazy to me. And I love the sort of like the mod system that this bag has, and you can use it for anything. You could take that ladder system out, and it's just a completely open bag that you can stuff with clothing, which I've also done on trips. But to me, this bag has just been the best. I've been in the desert, in the sand, have gotten this so dirty, and literally took a hose and washed it off, and it's like brand new. And I mean, I'm just a huge Nomadic fan. They were the first bag I ever bought when I sort of got into bags, and it was for like my podcasting gear back in the day. I love that they stand by their product. This isn't an ad, by the way. Like, this is just me just gushing on Nomadic. They have lifetime warranty. Like, if something happens, and they stand true to that, which I love. But I know how people harbor weird feelings about Peter McKinnon and all the stuff he does. Like, this has been the best thing he's ever done, in my opinion, are these camera bags. Garrett, you might argue because you buy a lot of the Pete's Pirate Life stuff, but
just throw me under the bus, why don't you? But I don't know. I'd have to, you're 90% right on that statement.
And again, no one has to agree. No one has to agree with me. This is just my statement. But I just think that so much thought went into this bag from a photographer's perspective. And to me, I mean, I absolutely love it. I think the one thing I wish it had over maybe the 35 liter that didn't come over was the side access, like where you could just pull the camera out quickly. They lost that on this one, but you gained another tripod holder. So, it's kind of like, what would you rather have?
The better top access on the 25 too.
Yeah, you do.
On the 35.
Mm-hmm. Totally. And then in that sort of top access, there's the laptop sleeve, and I always feel like it's super protected. Fits a 16-inch MacBook Pro, which is important because that's what I have. And it's like the big monster of a laptop. But yeah, I love this bag, and I think it's great. I like the sort of coyote tan interior because I don't know if you guys have had camera bags that have been black inside, and you're like, you can't see anything inside there.
Oh, yeah.
You need a lighter color on the inside, whether that's like a light gray. In this case, it's like a light tan. I hate when the bags are just black. You're like, well, everything's lost in there. But yeah, so that's my second bag. I'm sorry, no, that's my first bag. What am I saying? We've only gone through one option so far. Just one. All right, so Garrett, let's hear your second favorite bag on your list.
All right, well, completely unscripted and unplanned is the Nomadic Peter McKinnon 35 liter.
Oh, the 35. Okay.
Yeah, so in a lot of veins, the same thing to what you just said. I mean, the bag feels like it's indestructible. I'm sure someone has, and I probably will eventually break it, but hopefully not for a long time. I mean, I've beat on it, and it just keeps going. Holds an absolute ton of gear, which is great until you load it up, and then it weighs like 40 pounds.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's the downside of trying to travel with camera and lens and lighting and whole 9 yards. Does have the side access, which is great. I do wish it had the top system like what the 25 has, just because that'd be a little bit better for quick access and how I pack my gear. But the 35 is big enough that like I can easily throw in a lot of camera gear and then like a change of summer clothes if I'm going out, and doing whatever. It won't fit under the seat like the 25 will, but it's just a concession that you make. But
yeah, that's a good point, because the 25 liter I often put under the airplane seat. I don't have to put it in the overhead bin, but the 35, when I owned it, I had to put it in the overhead. And I will just say too, for people that they're big bags, and if people that aren't familiar, they are clamshell designed. So you open it and they open like a clamshell, so you can completely see everything inside the bag, which I think is really nice. But I have a bag later I'm going to talk about that's very different, and the reasons why I like that too. But I don't know how you feel, Garrett. I like going on a set and opening the bag, and I just kind of run and gun and grab stuff from it, and I can just easily. I'm not having to unzip constantly or whatever. But yeah, that's been a great use case for me on photo sets.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those type like there's not really a good word for it, but it's like a workstation bag. It's a get on set. It lives in a location and you work from it. Mm-hmm. Whereas like the 25 lends itself a bit more to being able to like on your back and going the entire time.
That's a good point. Yeah. Cool. Ricardo, what's your second bag?
So I will continue the nomadic trail. This is a recent one for me.
This is not sponsored by Nomadic. Nomadic, if you do want to sponsor me, let me know. Holler at your girl.
I mean, this is just a testament that they make solid kit that, I mean, apparently we all love. So
So for me, it's the Nomadic Navigator backpack. So
good one.
I've been in, and Garrett knows this well, like I've been constantly in search of like a everyday backpack. And like they would never be perfect. Something would always be off. I had one, but the laptop compartment was a little bit too forward, so it always felt like it was pulling away from my back. That didn't work.
Yeah.
And some of the other ones were just too big. They just had way too big of a footprint for an everyday bag. So I finally picked up the Navigator, which is like a 15 to 21. It expands. It's the greatest thing. Like I have a cube inside, which like has all the camera gear. I pull it out whenever I'm using it, unzip it, and everything is like right there for me. So it's like, it's kind of what you get with the clamshell, except like it's like its own dedicated little cube just for that. And I kind of took that from another brand, which isn't on this list.
Is it Peak? Is it the Peak?
No,
design cube?
The Essentials Pack Cube from Provoke.
Oh, okay, cool.
So like,
hey, that's okay. I have taken cubes that have been in other bags and put them in different bags because they make more sense or they work better.
And it's nice because, especially when I started to move away from the idea of like a camera specific bag, which like everything built into the structure, and then if I needed to use it for clothes, I'd have to pull like those little Velcro strips apart to stuff in. Ooh. So like this is perfect. So I have the cube, I put it in the backpack. I have a small tech kit that I put on top of that. Like anytime that I want to use it for clothes, I just don't bring the tech kit, take the essentials and put them in little compartments around the bag. Anytime I want to use it for camera gear, I just bring everything in there. Laptop sleeve is right against your back. So like the weight never feels like it's too heavy. Yeah. Oh man. And like I said, Garrett knows I've looked, and I think this may be as close to perfect as it could be. But another thing,
really,
Garrett and I talk about, we realize there's no real thing like a perfect bag.
No, there's not. There's not unless you're designing it yourself, maybe.
And even then,
you're going to produce one. And like if you destroy it, then how do you replace it? Like
and then it's all dependent on what you're doing. Like there's a perfect bag for this. And then you go here and you're like, this sucks. This is stuff, or it's too big. But for me, I just love the hard like kind of structure of the bag as well. Before that, I had bags that really just folded down, and even at like its largest size, the 21, it still goes under like a seat really easy on a plane. So I love it.
Do they market that bag for just kind of travelers and commuters mostly? The Navigator.
It's like they're like everyday kind of backpack.
Okay.
But like for someone who loves to bring their camera with them every single place I go, never knowing when I want to use it, like it's perfect. The cube just slips right in. It's not a full open because they've kind of like sealed the sides like about a third of the way down, so you could only open it this much. But that's more than large enough to just drop the bag in there and then put stuff inside, and it zips up. And I just love the thing.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth over the years whether I like the sort of hard shell design backpacks. I call them kind of Ninja Turtle bags, honestly, because they feel like you feel like a Ninja Turtle when you're wearing them. You got a turtle on your, your turtle shell on your back. But I think Nomadic does it very well, and I feel so safe with them, which is why I kind of come back to them. And Garrett, you mentioned this bag, just like throwing it around. I literally throw these bags around. I throw it in the back of my car, or it's getting tossed around in an airport or a plane or whatever, and I feel like everything inside is protected. Like I literally don't even second guess that something's messed up inside, versus some of the more softer bags. I've had a photo backpacks like the Brevity bag. I'm sure you guys have seen that on like Instagram. I've had those and I love them because it looks like a normal backpack. They look like a school backpack, and you are so under the radar with it. But I'm always scared like my stuff isn't as protected. I feel things moving around, shifting, and then I'm like, oh, I need to like open that up and check it. So yeah, there's pros and cons, because I get some people just don't like the look of a tech bag, and these do, they look techy in a way, but
turtle power.
It's so nice knowing, turtle power.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
It's so nice knowing that your stuff is like really safe inside, and I think that's like, to me, that's the most important factor. So, and they come in dark colors like black and dark blue and grays, where like they look a little more sleek, and so they don't stand out like a sore thumb. But that's a great pick. That was a Nomadic sweep for that second round. That's hilarious. All right, so whose turn is it? Garrett, I think is it my turn? Are we going on second? Is this what we're?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh wait, so we're not done, guys. I'm so confused. This wasn't a Nomadic sweep for the second round, because my second bag is not Nomadic.
3 in a row, but it's close enough.
Yeah. So my second bag is the Peak Design Everyday Backpack 30 liter. I have owned this bag in multiple variations over the years, but most recently bought the Coyote X-Pack material one. And this is the first time I think I've actually had the 30 liter as well. And I love, love, love this bag. Honestly, like I do think it's, even though it's 30, I fit about the same amount of material as I would in my Nomadic bag. Just because like the layering system of this bag is a little different, and you have to kind of really utilize it to the best capabilities, which is kind of hard, I'll be honest with you. But I love that there is side access on both sides of this backpack. If I'm on a set, and I have been recently, I've been able to access my cameras without having to put my bag on the ground. And that sounds silly, but sometimes you're in places you don't want to put your bag on the ground. Like it's gross and nasty. And like, it's so nice to be able to hold your bag from the side and access your cameras. And bonus points for that, you can access it on both sides of your body, which is really nice. But this has been my go-to travel bag. I think I can hold a lot of not only camera gear, but like my tech gear in there as well. And so when I'm coming to the office and I'm carrying, maybe I'm bringing one camera and then all of my tech stuff, like it all goes in this bag. And there's handles on all sides. I love the magnetic closures on the handles on the back and the straps. And I love the side sort of accessory pockets that they have. I think that, like Nomadic, Peak Design really puts a ton of thought into every little detail in this bag. There's even like a little stretchy like keychain holder in one of the water bottle slots, so that you can have your keys at a easy access, which is really cool too. But I've really just, along with Nomadic, I've been a Peak fan since forever. I have owned their camera straps and their tech kits and their toiletry kit. Like I have everything from this brand too. And this bag, I think several of us in the office own this bag in particular, maybe in different colorways, but it's easily become a favorite of mine for sure. And it's a love or hate bag. I get it because of this sort of stacking system of storage, but I don't know, I've come to use it and I really like it. But I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very camera oriented bag. And if you know that going into it, which is, kind of what you expect from Peak, it does great. Can be, like you mentioned, a little bit of a challenge to kind of adapt it and use it for different things. But, if you know what you're doing, you really make any bag work. So,
yeah, I think this is a bag that maybe I wouldn't use if I wasn't using it for photography gear. Like, I don't know that I would use this to store clothing. It's kind of a little awkward in that way. But for camera stuff, I think it's really great. And I'm still kind of working through the kinks of like fitting as much as I can inside of it. But it's kind of like putting a puzzle together. You have to kind of really work at it with the sleeves, because they like the individual dividers also like pop up, and then you can put other stuff in there. So it's it's kind of fun though to do that. I don't know, Ricardo, what are your thoughts on this one?
I mean, we are talking camera backpacks, so
Yeah.
in terms of like getting the job done, I think it's a great pack. But like you said, I think a lot of us have gotten used to the idea of like a multi-purpose bag. And like it's hard
because if you're gonna spend, this bag is like $300, right? So if you're gonna spend that, it's nice to know, I can use this for other things. So
and it's funny how that kind of also goes with how people think about watches. Like the more you spend on like a watch, you're like, I don't want it to be a watch that I could only wear like once or twice. Like I like the idea of wearing a watch like as often as possible, like especially if I'm spending so much money on it. So like to have a bag that you see just sitting in the corner because you're not using it for camera duties, it is kind of just like, there's where the money went. Ugh.
Definitely. Yeah. And I will say too that, Peak does have other bags. They have these travel bags that are more of the clamshell design, like kind of like Nomadics. And I think those are really kind of both case use bags, because you can store a lot of clothing in them, or you can put one of their fantastic camera cubes, because Peak has some awesome camera cubes inside of it, and make it into a camera backpack. They used to have, I don't even know if they still have, but they had some camo travel bags at their store locations that were dedicated to like the New York store or the San Francisco, and I should have snagged one when I could, and I didn't, and like forever regret, because those camo bags are so cool, and I'm a sucker for camo.
Long gone at this point.
I know.
I've stopped and asked several times about them, and they're like, no more.
Yeah, all right. I'll have to search eBay or something for one.
Yeah, they pop up occasionally, but a little hard to find sometimes.
Yeah. All right, so Garrett, let's hop into the last on your list.
All right, we are going way off the rails on this one.
Oh, wow.
So,
all right.
I think a lot of what we've all talked about so far has been like dedicated camera packs, which are great in their own aspect. I think it's really interesting when you can take a pack that was never made for cameras and through cubes or whatever else make it work, and you get some like really wonky combinations that work well. So it's been talked about a bajillion times at this point. I'm a big Mystery Ranch fan. I love their harness system. Ricardo, I know where your head's at, but I'm not going there. I'm going somewhere different.
Go ahead.
Mystery Ranch makes a medical pack called the RATS. And I think it's Rapid Access Trauma System. Basically, it's kind of like a flip top with two zippers that let you pull the front panel away so you can get rapid access. Makes sense for military. They did one pack that was just their Futura harness. Then that same pack you can put onto their military, what they call the NICE frame. So it's kind of like the old school Alice packs, carry a ton of weight, super comfortable, way overkill. But when you combine that with a Mission Workshop camera capsule insert, it basically fills the whole pack. You can organize all of your lenses and bits inside with the kind of like the standard Velcro system. But then whenever you're like, if you want to go hiking or whatever else, you can just like literally grab the insert and pull it out and then drop whatever else into the RATS pack that you need to. So way off the rails. This is also like a ridiculously expensive setup. You're like $1,500 for between the bag and the insert. I've never owned this one, but a buddy of mine did, and I used it while we were out shooting one day. And like, it's overkill. It's a load bearing harness system. So it feels great. If you're carrying a ton of kit around and like you don't want your back to hurt the next day, this is a way to do it. Maybe someday I'll kind of mimic the same setup for my own use, but just cool. Killer setup.
That's awesome. No, great pick for sure. I like that. I mean, I like that it's interesting and that you're sort of building it yourself, and especially if that bag has other use cases too, which it sounds like it definitely does. So
yeah, and like the Rats pack itself is fully Velcro lined, so you can put, different pouches or whatever, stick them in wherever you need to.
that's kind of
So
cool. I have to check
super
that one
super
out.
versatile. Yeah,
awesome. That's great. Ricardo.
So I thought you were going there, but I'll go there myself.
Mystery Ranch.
So our good friend Garrett opened my eyes to the idea of Mystery Ranch when he first joined the office. And it was hard for my mind to kind of make the leap from like a very urban looking backpack to like a more military inspired backpack. But once you get that Futura harness on, you completely forget about that, and you're just like, I want comfort more than anything. So
yeah,
I remember when we first started talking about it, I ended up going to REI. They had like a special version that they did with Mystery Ranch. It was okay, but there was Garrett in the corner like, you're going to eventually go for the 2DAP. Like, just it's okay, but I know where you're going to go. So I wore that backpack for maybe like a week or two. And then I tried out the 2DAP. Like, you were able to get one in and got the harness on. And wow, what a complete difference it made. I immediately purchased one on Huckberry, got I believe it's the Wildfire Black. It has little trims of orange, but like, I'm going to like kind of build out the idea behind the bag for me. So this is like my dedicated travel bag now.
okay.
You have your camera cube, all your camera stuff in there. Great. Like that fits at the bottom of the bag. Has the nice tri zippers, makes it easy to kind of open and just stuff things in. Then you have a bunch of extra space at the top where you could stuff clothes, extra pairs of socks, like tech kit, everything. It has orange, like small orange accents throughout the bag, which are great for when you like put the bag down and like you immediately are looking for it. Like it's really hard to miss the black and orange bag in the corner. But more than anything, like I remember the first time I used it, we were at the airport, and from the moment I stepped out of the taxi to like when I finally got to the gate, it never felt like I had a heavy backpack on my back. And like,
oh wow, that's nice.
That's like the best thing about it. It just gives you this, like when you're traveling and you do have a couple extra things, like there's nothing worse than having like feeling like you're uncomfortable and you're walking around the airport. Like if you ever seen me in the airport, I'm comfort first. I am sweats. I am sneakers that easily slip off. I am a comfortable shirt, and then like I'll have a hoodie that's kind of tied to my bag. And like this just added to it. And I don't think I'll ever go back. Like it's just a perfect travel bag for the comfort, the space inside, the ability to just kind of mold depending on what you stuff it into. And I'm not worried about my camera equipment because that's in its own dedicated cube inside the bag. So everything else kind of just molds around it. Yeah, I love that bag. That's the one bag, and maybe the other two I talked that I will never get rid of, just because like I just really like that bag.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great.
It's really one of those systems that like it takes you a minute to dial in with the Futura harness, and I've talked about it several times. But once you dial it in, there is no like going back. Like the Futura harness single-handedly has ruined some amazing backpacks for me because they just don't carry the same.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed with, I don't want to go deep into the Yeti hole that we're in right now, but fingers crossed that Futura continues to live and is available in some commercial format for time to come.
Yeah, I've yet to experience that, so I'll have to check it out. Yeah, because you talk a lot about that.
Yeah.
And I've been on sets, and I feel like out of the two I've already called out, the bags, the Peak bag I think wears much better on me. The Nomadic one wears on my shoulders definitely for a full day of shooting. I can say that, especially if you have it super loaded down. But that bag I also only take when I know I'm going to be putting it down too. So it hasn't been a huge issue for me. But when I have worn it long term, I can say like, I've felt it in my shoulders, especially the next day. You're like, oh man, I can't move my neck. type of thing.
My lower back is the same way, and I'm way too young to be talking about back pain, but there are days where when you carry 20, 30, 40 pounds of kit, really, it doesn't matter what pack you have it in, like you're gonna feel it. So if you have a pack that at least makes it more enjoyable, like that's a big step in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. I will quickly call out my last bag, and then maybe we'll have just one little last discussion. But my last bag on my list is a sling bag that I've used for many, many years and been a fan of this brand for a long time. It's a New York-based brand called Ona, and that's ONA. And they've been making backpacks for a long time, and they're all camera dedicated bags. I think that if you look on Amazon, there is a lot of copycats of this brand, and people probably didn't know that they were like kind of the first ones to design it. The bag I'm talking about is called the Bowery. That's Bowery. It comes in a wax canvas, a lot of different colors, and they also do a really nice leather options for this bag as well. But I've had different versions of this bag. I've owned a wax canvas that I think Catlin has now. And then I have currently a nylon version that was a limited edition that they did, which kind of has this kind of Kevlar look to it, which I really like. But this is a great little everyday sling. It will just fit your camera and a lens that you have on it, most likely, unless you have something like a Q2, or maybe you have a little Fuji, or I don't know, something small, maybe even Garrett, like the A7C from Sony, like that would fit with like an extra lens or something if you have a really small kit. But regardless, like if you have a full frame, you can easily fit the full frame in like one lens inside this bag. It's been a great like little weekender bag, but then also a great bag for me to have on sets too, where like we were talking earlier, like I want to have an extra lens or filter or whatever on me. And it's very stylish, and that's what I love about these. It doesn't look like a camera bag. And I think that that's kind of important, especially when you're, just going for a walk on the weekends or you're going out. I think these also look great on guys too. They have lots of photos on both males and females on their site. And I think, again, some of the leather options look really great with men too. So it's not cheap. Their leather bag is like $349, and then the wax canvas is like $180, but they last a really long time. I've had mine for 4 years now, and then the wax canvas one that a friend is borrowing, I think I just gave it to her. She that one I've had for like 5 or 6 years. So and they've held up as long as you like re-wax, obviously the canvas, but they're just really good looking. They don't have a lot as much as they used to on their site, but definitely have some great backpacks, and they're so nice. Like the quality is so good. I do have one of their backpacks still. I just forgot about that. And it's a wax canvas, and I love that material. I really do. And we were talking earlier about feeling like your equipment's safe. Their bags are so padded. I do feel like my stuff is really safe inside. But it's kind of like the option I want to wear when I don't want to look like I'm got a photo-centric messenger bag or backpack on. I'll go for the Ona bags because they have a really nice like upscale look to them, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking a peek at their pages, and yeah, these look phenomenal without, like you said, without screaming, "Hey, steal me! There's a camera inside."
And they're very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, very like sleek heritage vibes. Really nice.
Yeah, I mean, probably not the kind of bags you want to use if you got a ton of gear to carry, but if your gear is pretty minimal, then I think these bags are the way to go.
Yeah, I can't lie. What
were you gonna say, Ricardo?
I was gonna say with the wax canvas, like I feel like there's gonna be a point in my life where I'm gonna want a bag like that. Because I don't know about you guys, I've always had like that image of like the guy on safari with this super large telephoto lens, and he's not wearing like a Peak Design or like a Nomadic. He has like this little like rucksack looking bag, with material. Yeah. It's you guys are left because like the image I'm talking about, and there's just something to that, like just having like a simple bag that could stand the test of time, and it'll wear like the marks of what it's been through. There's just something about that. I can't lie.
No, I like that too, and that's why I've leaned towards these bags. Like my wax canvas bag has character in it, and you re-wax it every year or two, probably more often than I do, but it is waterproof. Like, I haven't had any issues with water getting inside of it. And again, it has this added character. I think it looks more stylish, if I'm being honest, than the photo bags and the mystery ranches and the Peak Designs of the world. These bags are definitely more stylish, and I think if you're in a formal setting, especially, like, we go to a lot of really formal events here at Worn and Wound where we're at not necessarily black tie, but like, business casual looks. And you don't want to be rolling in with your Peak Design bag sometimes, right? Or your mystery ranch. You want something that's a little nicer. And that's where Ona has really like shined, in my opinion. And there's other brands out there too. But for me, I've spent the money, and I think that the quality has truly lasted, and I really believe in their product. But yeah, definitely take a look. We'll link all of these in the show notes. There's some really awesome options. But one thing I wanted to ask before we close out the show is, we've talked about our favorites. Is there anything like that you have on your hit list right now that you want to try out, or is there something you feel like you're missing from your collection? I'm curious.
Yeah, so again, unscripted, right back to Nomadic. McKinnon did another kind of like a skew extension with some sling bags. I think it's either an 8-liter and a 13 or a 5 and a 13. I can't remember, but the 13 is like 13 liter, supposed to be big enough to fit like a 70 to 200 and a camera body with like a 24 to 70 and a laptop, which is a lot of like my kind of like city kit, I'll call it. So definitely need to pick one of those up and give it a try, because that'd be super nice to like much smaller package, easy on the subway, easy into these press meetings, and we'll see. Hopefully I get one and it works out for me.
Yeah, I looked at those too. I've tried so many sling bags, like bigger ones in the past, especially from Peak, because they used to have the big slings.
Yeah.
My shoulder kills me wearing a lot of gear with a sling. That's the only reason I've kind of moved away from them and back to a backpack. Unless I'm just carrying something like the little Q3 or something like that. But but it's worth a try, because people love them. People love these sling bags for sure.
I'm in the same boat. Like, I know my shoulder will probably not feel great the next day, but it's a trade-off that you make when you're trying to slim down, on busy trains and crowded streets.
Yeah, totally. What about you, Ricardo? Is there anything on your wish list right now?
Well, now I do. I mean, after that conversation,
after this episode,
after the conversation about like the Ona, like that is the one like place that I haven't really stepped into. But it's gonna have to wait, because I just spent money on a new camera. So yeah.
Wait, new camera?
Oh yeah.
Oh wait.
So I've had my Z6 for a couple years now.
Yeah.
And like I find it was just like, okay, there are some limitations to it. There's certain things I want some higher resolution. I want like some different things. So like if for those who don't know, it's I think 24.5 megapixels.
Yeah.
So I originally was gonna go, and I was like, I love Nikon. I'm not going anywhere. And I was gonna look at like a Z8, but then I got I spent that Sunday at B&H. Just living at the Nikon table, and I got to spend some more time with the Z6 III. And between the pixel shift technology, the focus stacking technology in camera, like all those things, the better autofocus, like I just spent so much time with it, and I was just like, okay, it's time. So I basically traded in my Z6 for a Z6 III. And I've been shooting with it ever since. I think I just posted my first picture on Instagram. It's a simple pixel shift. It's just 4 images. I wanted to kind of try it out. Thank you, Garrett, for helping. Because pixel shift with flash, it's like you really have to dial in the correct settings, how long the it's going to take for the flash to recharge. But finally got to a good place. And at just 4 images, I'm like, okay, this is cool.
I'm gonna have to go like look at them now on Instagram.
So so now like I spent the money towards that. I'm a very happy camper that I spent the money towards it, because now I feel like I have a camera that I should be good with for another let's say 3 or 4 years before the new best thing comes out. But
that's
yeah,
awesome.
we're gonna hold off on like a nice like Ona for like, let's say, a couple more months at least. At least until after like Chicago wind up. Like that nice little gap between Chicago and New York. Yeah, maybe around that time. But for now, yeah, new camera, more bills. So yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Are all the bags we talked about, they're all U.S. based, pretty much? Yeah, Mystery Ranch is in Montana, right?
For now.
Nomadic is based.
I hate to say that, but yeah. California?
I can't remember where Nomadic is. Maybe. I mean, obviously I think they make these bags overseas, but
yeah.
And then Peak is in San Francisco. Yeah. So kind of all at least US based brands that we chatted about, and then Ona's New York.
And Tenba's New York too.
Oh, that's cool. So, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, well, congratulations, Ricardo, first of all. I didn't know that. I'm very excited for you, and I'll have to check that out next time I'm in the office. I've always respected that you are such, like, I think it's a hard thing when all these new cameras come out not to get excited, and you're a Nikon guy, and you've always been a Nikon, and you're just like, no, you're loyal, and I like that. I like that you're loyal to that.
Believe me, I've been tempted. Like I've had Canon kind of just do like the belly dance in front of my face, and I've had like Fuji just come, and Sony, and like some of the amazing things you got. But there's just something, like, I think the menu system and the layout is so built into my system. Like the other day, me and Garrett were just like just gripping cameras, and like he had the Nikon, and he was just like, yeah, it's just now off, and I just grabbed it from him. Like, it's perfect for me. Like, I almost feel like my hand has adjusted into like a Nikon grip that's so automatic. But I just love the system. I love the colors that come out of the camera.
Nikon has really great colors, and that's something that I think has been overshadowed. I feel like Nikon, out of all the brands, maybe gets the least amount of love, I want to say, because I think that
most hate.
Yeah.
Really. But that's crazy to me, because like Nikon used to be like the brand for so long, and now it's Sony, and now it's, Sony and Canon, I think, really take the lead with a lot of photographers. Obviously, you could maybe even say Leica in there too, but I think brands like Nikon and Panasonic are so undervalued. I think they offer so much, and I do think, and I say this to people, like, if you're going to buy a modern full frame right now, you can't go wrong. Buy within your budget and go play with them and feel like whatever you liked in your hands, like, just go with that. Cause like all these cameras, I used to shit on Sony because their colors were wacky. They're not anymore. No, they're not anymore. They're great.
Everything has gotten so good and competitive. And like, I'll catch flack for this, but like a lot of people ask me like, oh, what camera do I buy for like $1,500? And like at that price point, the newest iPhone. Like, does great.
Or get a Fuji X100, whatever. Because I think those are great too.
Stock,
But
I mean, like, there's really, like, if you're buying a flagship or even a generation back, modern camera, there's not a bad option on the market right now, which is phenomenal.
And I have to say, as a Nikon fan, I appreciate how things have gotten, because there's just like with Canon and Sony pushing things so forward, it's almost like Nikon can't just sit on its laurels anymore.
No, everyone's on their top game basically, because of
which is just pushing the innovation, which I love, and I'm just like, okay, let's go. Like the updates are fast with this one. They just did a firmware update like February. The camera was out like last year. I love it. I wanted to just continue in that direction.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I can't wait to see your shots with it. I'll have to go over. We'll link Ricardo's shots in the show notes too. Well, thanks guys. This was a really fun episode. I want to do more of these. Maybe we'll talk about cameras in another episode and some of our favorites, because we've all owned a lot over the years too. But I appreciate you both coming on. And again, we'll link all the bags that we talked about today in the show notes. Until next time, you can find us at www.wornandwound.com. If you have any questions or you have suggestions for future episodes, send us an email at info@wornandwound.com and we'll check it out. Cool. Until next time, bye guys.
Bye.